So this is the first time I'm doing a video like this. Hopefully it turns out good. I wanted to talk about The Legend of Heroes Kai no Kiseki Farewell O Zemuria. It's the next game in the Trail series, and from the premise alone, it looks to be pretty exciting. First off, I will say that on release, I am definitely streaming this, the Japanese version. Fun fact, Kuro no Kiseki 2 was the first game I began streaming, and it's basically what started my streaming career, as it was. Anyways, this will contain spoilers for the entire series. I'll just go ahead and say that as a blanket statement. But first off, Kuro no Kiseki 2 Crimson Sin, I'll be honest, I disliked, in particular, the second half of the game. As an overall package, I disliked it a bit. It reused too many, not assets, but it was bland. I don't know how else to say it, but it was pretty bland overall. The first half of it was good. The second half onwards was absolutely terrible. I really disliked it, and the battles just felt like they would go on and on, or not. The battles wouldn't take a long time. If you watch my Let's Play, you know that I got it set up to like basically nuke random encounters even on the hardest difficulty. But there's too many fights, individual fights, compared to other Trails games. It almost feels like maybe a Muso game. The active time battle or the on-field fights just were boring, and it just wasn't very fun. They could have done a lot to help with the combat, but they didn't. And come to find out that it was a rushed release, if what I'm looking at is correct. Anyways, Kuro no Kiseki 3 was going to be a turning point for me no matter what. It's still a turning point for me regarding this franchise that I love. And I was sort of skeptical of Kuro no Kiseki 3 finale, as it were. Like, there was an update for Kuro no Kiseki 2 Crimson Sin that stated the next game would be Kuro no Kiseki 3 finale, which that's maybe not the case, but at the same time, I think it may be. So I guess let's lead into The Legend of Heroes Kai no Kiseki Farewell O Zemuria. So first off, the name change. It is not called Kuro no Kiseki 3 Finale, though it doesn't necessarily have to be the finale of the Kuro no Kiseki saga. But forgive me if I'm like mixing up lots of words and stuff. When Kuro no Kiseki 1 first released, after having played Hajimaru no Kiseki Trails into Reverie, the Japanese version at least, and understanding everything, the plot and stuff, Um, there were some connections, of course, but I can't remember what part of Kuro no Kiseki 1 it was, but I felt a connection. I don't know how to describe it properly, but I felt that some of the themes or some of the subjects touched on in Hajimari were again, like sort of starting to sow parallels in Kuro no Kiseki 1. It may have been the timeline, it may have been the very end of the game where there was a devil that existed that wasn't supposed to. I really can't remember the details. But I just felt, I don't know how to describe it. Like how Lapis was calculating, what was it? Or Illusion? Anyways, sorry about, this is my first time again doing this, and it probably sounds wretched, but, in Kuro no Kiseki 2, I definitely felt that, lots of the things were parallel with some of the stuff that went on in Hajimari. I'm really struggling to remember exactly what I mean. Lots of this is a small thing, but in the final dungeon of Kuro no Kiseki 2, there are these computer program type enemies that only had appeared previously in Hajimari no Kiseki, in the True Reverie corridor. It was the cubes. That's a small thing, but I guess it's worth mentioning. Another thing, I'm really struggling with this. This already feels like a failure on my part, but, I'll admit something I've also said was that it felt like the game was going towards Zemuria is a simulation route, and I'm still half and half on that being the case, but the way the new game looks and is explained, I'm starting to think that it may be a failed timeline or a Zemuria fail. When a game introduces a concept of like something bad happening, or maybe even any media, like a war breaking out and stuff, and the heroes are meant to stop it, the consequence or the whatever it is always likely going to happen just as a plot beat, but maybe it'll be lessened, the severity of it will be lessened or something. Like if you start off playing an RPG and your main character's goal is to like prevent a war, or prevent, I don't know, the end of the world or someone from dying or something, more likely than not, in some way that conclusion will be reached, although not always. And you'll at least partially complete the goal. Or maybe it doesn't have to be like a story beat that's first their main goal. Maybe it's something that's introduced later in a game, like Star Ocean 3's war that happens, and you want to quickly build this weapon to have an advantage in the war, but you fail to build it on time. And so all the side quests you sort of did, or all the things you did to go help build the weapon, are kind of made moot and pointless to have done because you failed to finish the weapon on time anyways. Except the war is ended abruptly anyway, and you end up needing the weapon as soon as possible, so those side quests you did to build said weapon weren't actually pointless because you ended up needing the weapon anyway for something else. Like, what I'm trying to say is the consequence will usually happen in a story like this. So Trails has been toying around with the end of Zemuria, end of the world, since Cold Steel 4 or Hajimari, or maybe it was before then, I can't remember. And so we at least want to see it. I'm pretty sure maybe some of us fans don't want it to happen, but we want to see the severity of this consequence, I'm pretty sure, of what it means for the world to end. They never go into specifics on how Zemuria or whatever comes to an end, just that it did. With the end of, with Rin Ismelga going into the sky or whatever, and Hajimari, Rin Ismelga trying to tell Lloyd, Eustace, and Swin and Nadia how exactly the world will end, which was still stupid in my eyes, by the way. But anyways, I myself want to see the world of Zemuria end, or rather, how exactly it ends, what causes it. But if that happened, it would end the franchise, would it not? Or at least it potentially would. You would think it would, because the world ended. Oops, what can you do? Except, I think that the Genesis may do some time rewind shenanigans or something. It may play a part. And Trails of what is it again? Legend of Heroes Kai no Kiseki. Farewell, O Zemuria. It may at least, maybe half of the game is at the halfway point of the game. Maybe the world of Zemuria does end or something, and after that it continues on in Kuro 2. I honestly have no clue. I don't even know exactly what I'm saying at this point. I'm interested in seeing the world doomed, what the consequences are, how it exactly happens. And so, with this game not being exactly titled Kuro 3 Finale, it gives me some hope, at the very least, that we'll see something of the sort. The title change alone, this was supposed to be called Kuro 3 Finale, but as we've seen, it's not going to be named that. I'm 50-50 on the name change. I'm happy it changed, but it feels like I was led astray by it not having the name that they plainly stated it was going to have. But it won't have the trappings of being at the very least, as far as I can tell, it won't have the trappings of being strictly tied to Kuro 2. So many things could be different. It already seems to be different. I mean, in Orid, forces from around the world are about to gather, including a young Spriggan. That seems pretty insane to me. It makes it sound like it's going to be another Hajimari. But then again, I really struggle to figure out how to put this in exactly how I want to say, but since Hajimari, and especially after Kuro 2, I've just been finding insane parallels between the two games, and it feels like stuff could be linked back to Hajimari very easily. And I'm not just talking out the obvious, Lapis being, the Crimson Grendel, or I guess the Red Grendel or whatever. I'm not talking about her being the Navi or whatever for him, and her AI being used. It's more so just the themes. I feel like this video has already gone on long enough. This is my first time doing something like this, and I know for a fact it likely isn't that great. I haven't articulated myself that well. But yes, I'm very excited for Legend of Heroes Kai no Kiseki Farewell of Zemuria. I can't wait to play it and stream it and record it. I can't wait to see what it has in store. Hopefully it's not as disappointing as Kuro 2. The name change alone gives it more freedom, in my opinion, to do things differently. I really hope they explain exactly what the Beyond is and stop teasing us with info on that. There's not much info to go off of. And finally, I can't wait to see Kevin, who won't appear. Wait, who is Kevin, by the way? Was that a main character at some point in the Trail series? Kevin? Anyways, I wonder if Kevin will show up in this game. I love joking about Kevin. Anyways, I guess that's it for this video. I can't wait to get my hands on the game and stream it. And I am just excited as always for a new Trails game. But I hope it can deliver. I really hope it can deliver. Because Kuro no Kiseki 2 did not deliver for me, in my opinion. In my own personal opinion, it didn't deliver. And thanks to anyone that stuck around. For the last time, I'm sorry if this was just a awful video. It's my first time doing it. Hopefully it'll be better if I do another video like this. Thank you for watching, and have a great day, everyone.